Revolver Underground.
What's going on, guys? It's E-Rock Revolver Underground doing another Skype interview. I am here with Brandon Heitkamp. What's going on, man?
How's it going, Eric?
Going well. Yeah, it's going well. So what you are a producer, director, actor, but not necessarily always in that order.
That's true. Usually it's an actor first and a producer when I have to, and then a director when I really have to.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm just a douchebag all around, so I don't know how that comes into play, but anyway, whatever. So what are you doing currently right now?
Right now, I'm in pre-production for my new series called Disavowed. I've actually teamed up. I thought I was going to have to direct this all by myself, but I was able to team up with my friend Matt Hill, who's just, he's really creative, and we met actually on the last film that I worked on, and we really had a good groove going, so we teamed up, and I'm just really excited to be working with him.
Nice.
So yeah, Disavowed is actually it's going to be a TV series / comic book series, so I get to geek out and be a comic book character. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So is this going to be is the series going to come first, or the comic book, or are they going to coincide with each other?
They're gonna come together. Actually, we started working on this probably about 6 months ago, and I got some pictures together and whatnot and sent them to my comic book artist. His name's Daniel Probst. He lives in Colorado, and he basically took the pictures from the characters that I've cast already, like the main lead characters, and made the comic book characters resemble those people. So it's really pretty exciting to see yourself as a comic book character. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. Wow. So now let's go into acting first. When you started in theater, correct?
Yeah. I grew up in Fargo, North Dakota, and there wasn't a whole lot of theater outlets, so I didn't really start until I was probably a junior in high school, all because there was a cute girl that was in the theater program, and I saw her, and then I was like, well, that looks like my next extracurricular activity, so
Yes.
I did that and fell in love with it, and then I came out to LA after I actually quit college. I was supposed to finish up college, and I was like, you know what, I'm done doing this. I need to kind of experience something else. So I came out here with a bag and a car, and started doing theater out here, and then got involved in the film Bloody Indulgent.
Yes.
It's pretty exciting. I got to play opposite Kevin Richardson, which was an exciting experience. So
Sure.
Dang. But yeah, then I fell in love with film and kind of immersed myself in film acting, which is totally different from theater. You'd think
Yes.
acting, definitely not. There's a lot more you can do, I think, in film, where you can experience more with your characters and really have a chance to play. So
For sure. Now you also do when you are producing, directing, how do you and acting, which I know you have done recently, you're doing all of those three at the same time. How does that work?
Well, it's all about preparation, man. With this project Disavowed, I am producing, directing, and starring in it, and I'll tell you, if you don't have all your ducks in a row, it gets really interesting really fast. And by interesting, I don't mean like fun. But really, it's about having a good team behind you, and I've been fortunate enough to team up with people that I can trust and people that have my back. So if I drop the ball, someone's right behind me to pick it up. So
Absolutely.
it's definitely about the collaborative us instead of all about me.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Which lacks in this town. So I'm hoping to get back.
I actually did some work before I moved to LA. I did some work with some people out here who I won't talk about, but they, I just got a bad taste. I've always loved LA. It's just the people, some of the people here, I just want to, I guess, stab in the face, really. I mean, to put it nicely.
It's definitely a culture shock if you're not from here to come from a place where you say, hey, let's hang out on Friday. And then you show up on Friday and you just hang out, and then you come to LA and it's like, well, you didn't confirm those plans with me. It's like, what? I did the day that I told you it was going to happen.
You wrote it down on your calendar.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, come on, man, you got to update that stuff.
Oh my gosh, yeah. But you know what though? I mean, I've never been this close to the beach in my entire life. I mean, it's right there, and
Yeah.
that's fine for me. If everybody else screws me over, at least I can count on the beach to be there. So
Yeah.
that's one of the nice things. But when I first met you, you were about to work on a movie called Wingman Inc.
Yes.
Now this is a feature.
Yeah, feature film starring Aaron Cahill, Christopher Turner, myself, Daniel Watts, and Andrea Bogart and Ray Dennis. That's
Very nice.
kind of the six of us together being all crazy. So it's pretty fun.
Now, how is this? I mean, there's obvious differences, but how is a feature different from a short film?
Oh my gosh. I did three shorts with the executive producer Tony Germanario before Wingman Inc. Came about, and we decided to do a feature together. And I'll tell you something, it's night and day. I mean, not only the preparation beforehand, but the people that you bring in to just handle stuff that that normally in a short, like Seance, which was a short that we did together. It was basically just him and I, and then some friends of ours that we could trust to do a good job. And when you do a feature, there's a lot more involved. I mean, not only just the marketing and making sure that you have the talent behind the camera as well as in front of the camera, and then the people that just make everything run smoothly on set. That I mean, there are so many thankless jobs that make a feature possible. I mean, I couldn't even begin to start thanking people on here, but it's just it's a real project. You really want to be able to trust everybody to just handle what they need to handle, and it's a big deal if they don't. So
yeah, absolutely.
We're to have a very talented team. So I'm really fortunate that we were able to get those people and really come out with a good product. So.
Yeah, for sure. And that's obviously the bottom line is making sure that everybody works together well and that you can come up with a great product, because if you don't have a great product, then you wasted all that time, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is Choice Skinner was our director, and he was actually a producer as well, which some people didn't even know on set. They didn't realize that he and I were producers, which was pretty fun.
Yeah.
You really get to find out how people are feeling when they don't know that you're one of the bosses, But with his guidance and his with his preparation, we went into it really strong, and we didn't really need to worry about too much once we were on set. Anything that that wasn't able to get handled by himself or I, we had a team that handled everything. They just were proactive, and oh man, you can't ask for better people than what we had.
So now, because I like watching movies, but I've never been on the backside of it. When the first concept of a movie is writing it, or the idea of writing it. What is this now from that point? How, I guess, what's the short version of the process to finish to being on the screen?
First you need a script.
I hear that helps.
But you need a strong script that has roots, because if you don't, the entire film will crumble. I've been on sets where the script's not strong, and it's like it just makes no sense, and everybody's confused, and no one really knows what's going on. So that's first. Have a strong script, and then teaming up with people that can do a good job, obviously. But once you write the script, the next process that we had to go through was obviously getting the money, which is a very big challenge. But we had people that trust us, and Vincenzo Productions is Tony Germanario's production company. He was able to put in a lot of his own into it, and people that he trusted to come on board. So we were able to get the funding, which is usually the hardest part. But Tony made it happen, which took a lot of stress off the other producers.
Absolutely.
But once you've got the funding, then next you've got to be able to get your crew together. You need to find your director. You need to find people that can handle producing a feature. Which producing shorts, that's easy compared to a feature. Like I can't even tell you how many nights I didn't sleep just because I didn't have time.
Right.
It was working all night into the day and then phone calls all day to make sure stuff happens. You know, and then once you've got that team together, then you go through the casting process, then you go through, you know, picking that cast and making sure that that all happens, and having a great line producer who, you know, handled all of the agents, so we didn't have to deal with them, which, I mean, as an actor, I love an agent because they take care of you. They make sure you get the best deal. As a producer, I hate the agent. It's just like pulling teeth just to be, just sign the contract. So that was a, you know, that we were fortunate enough to not have that be a big issue, but, you know, dealing with agents, it's always a challenge.
Absolutely.
But then once it comes down to it, you know, there's location scouting that you have to do to make sure that not only do you get the locations you need, but that you get your shot list based off of those based off those locations that you have.
Sure.
Because a lot of people are like, oh, we'll shoot it in a bank, and they don't realize you have to find a bank that's willing to, you know, let you shoot there. And not only that, but you might need to pay them and all that stuff. So that's, you know, that's always a balancing act. And then, you know, crewing up, casting up, and then basically getting to the point where you've prepped, you've got your locations, you know your time frame, you've got your shot list down, which I'm so happy that I have a co-director in Disavowed, because I don't even know how to make a shot list. I'm still learning. So, so, you know, just prepping all of that and then finally shooting it. And then once it's shot, you're halfway there.
Right.
You know, you've got post where you've got to edit it, you got to sound, sweeten the sound, you got to do the color correcting, then you got to market it and get it out there, you know, and it's a whole process. So like a lot of people don't realize that when they go to the movies, that was sometimes years in the making, and it was every day in the making, not just years like, oh, they had it and then they kind of took some time off. It's like, no, they worked every single day for about 15 hours a day just to get that stuff.
Oh, man.
You know, which is why people don't understand why people get paid so much on film sets. It's because that's a lot of work.
Yeah. I can't even imagine that, because, you know, I take, you know, 2 hours to record my show every week, and you know, I do a lot of back end on it, but it's definitely not a year's worth of work. I would go crazy if I had to take a year to do something, but you know, that's like, it comes back to what you said, is it's good to have a team. It's good to have a team that knows what they're doing and is very good at what they do. It just makes you feel a lot better, and it's all around a lot better.
Yeah, it's a lot less to worry about, you know, because I mean, and not to say that we weren't worried, because there's always things that come up and it's like, oh my gosh, how's that going to happen? And then all of a sudden you'll get an email from somebody saying, oh, I took care of it. You're like, thank you, team.
It's always a good feeling. Is there a process, though, that you may like more than all the other processes that you have to go through in the course of a movie?
You know, honestly, when it comes down to it, the best process is know exactly what your title entails, like what your job is, and stick to that. Don't think that, you know, like, always ask for help, like always ask to help somebody, you know, like, hey, you need help with that? But if they say no, let them do their thing, because honestly, sometimes you think you're helping when you're not, and that's when people are wondering why you're there. People get upset because you're walking on their toes. You know, the best process is just know your role and stick to it.
My wife tells me that all the time. I still haven't learned, but it's all right. It's all right. Well, what... I guess in the course of your career, producing, directing, acting, what tickles your fancy the most?
Oh, definitely acting.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's nothing better than, you know, putting yourself in someone else's shoes and someone else's circumstance and playing with it to see how that's going to play out. You know, because like the script will say one thing, but sometimes you're able to talk to the writer and be like, so what if we did this? You know, sometimes they love it, sometimes they don't. But, you know, I'm a strong believer in collaboration before you start shooting. Don't, like, go up to them, like, right before the shot and be like, I'm going to do this instead. But, you know, just the collaboration that goes on with producing is what I like. Being able to bounce ideas off of other people. But, you know, the creative outlet of acting, there's no bigger high that I've, you know, ever experienced. So,
right.
So that's definitely number one for me, you know.
Acting is something that I do when I don't like somebody. I act like I care. That's pretty much the extent of my acting, but maybe
Yeah.
someday. I don't know. I like you a lot. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to give a quick shout out to you for helping us out with Wingman. You've been reaching out to some of your artists and whatnot, and you know that. I mean, I don't want to like get people mad at you. Like, why didn't I get a call? You know, it's obviously you know what the film's about, and so you know the people to call that will match that kind of style. So
Absolutely.
I just want to say thanks.
No, not a problem, man. I'm just happy I could help. I mean, anything I can do for to help the process, that's what I'm here for. And my artists are gonna love that. They're gonna just enjoy that, and it'll help them move forward too. So that's the goal. If we can all work together to move everything forward, then why would we not do that? So.
No, I mean, the person who said it best was Tony Germanario, our executive producer for Wingman. He told me once, he said, because he's a writer, and a producer, so he's always first to know what we're doing because he wrote it. He told me once, he goes, Brendan, you can just ride my coattails till you're big enough that I can ride yours. And I was, that's the best way of looking at it, Like, yeah, no one's really big right now, but let's just work together, get it going, and then we'll just all blow up together. You know what I mean?
We'll all go hang out at our house in the hills and have a party or something. Well, here's a question that because of my situation with Wingman Inc., this question has come up. The question of how important is an IMDb account, or how important is that role in the situation?
It's actually important. When we were especially for an actor, if you're an actor, like a film actor, and you don't have a picture up on IMDb, you're losing a lot more work than you ever thought. Because when we went through the casting process, I mean, we saw hundreds, even maybe not thousands, but 1,000 plus some change,
right?
People within a week, and so we're going through everybody. And if you were wonderful in your audition, we go to your IMDb account to say, okay, well, what have they done? What kind of chops do they have? Could we use them for publicity and stuff like that? Because I mean, really, actors are their own instrument, but they're also their own commodity. So if you're not selling yourself, why should we help sell you? From a producer standpoint. And
right.
And when it comes down to it, like, we were looking at everybody's IMDb that tickled our fancy, and if you didn't have a picture up, we said, okay, next. Unless of course you're brand new and you've only got like one thing on there, you might not realize I had a student project I did back in 2008. I had no idea I was even on IMDb, until my first feature. But yeah, I mean, it's important. I check that all the time. The rankings don't really matter too much to me, just because that's basically just based off of how many people are looking at your page.
Sure.
But definitely keep that updated with your resume and all that stuff. I mean, even as a producer, I like people to know that I'm a producer.
Yeah.
I'm not just an actor, but I do a lot of other things. And I mean, I've come to know that a lot of people, once they get to a certain level, feel like they're too good for certain things, and I don't like working with those people, because it's all about making the project together. I've been a PA, I've been a boom mic operator, and it's all about making that project happen and knowing that they understand that you showed up to their set and helped them. I never forget I never forget the people that show up and just work on my set just because they want to help out.
Yeah.
And there's always work for them.
And I think it goes back to us talking just recently about helping each other out. If you're there for a job, you've been hired for a job, no matter what level of job that is, do your job. Just simply do your job. Don't complain about it. Just do your job. It annoys me that when you go, I mean, I'm in no position of authority at where I work, which is awesome. I embrace that. But there's so many times when you see these people come in and they're just so pissy, and they're in management. You're like, you're setting the pace. You're setting the goal for everybody else to be pissy now. You understand that, right?
It's true.
So
yeah.
Good leadership is worth so much that it's always nice to have, and doesn't have to be in a leadership position. You can show leadership in a janitorial position, if you will. That's the thing.
It shines all the time. It shines through everything, because I can tell you, I was on a set. I don't even remember what set it was on, but my friend Ben Kaplan just showed up, and and he was. I didn't even know he was there, until like later that night. But he wasn't being paid, which I strongly believe in paying everybody that's on our sets, just because people work harder, and I believe in people getting reimbursed for what they do. And he just showed up and started like cleaning trash bags and stuff like that, just whatever he could to help. And it speaks volumes when you just take the initiative and you're proactive. And not only that, producers talk to each other.
Yep.
They say, "Did I hire this person?" "No," or "You'd be an idiot not to." And my dad actually told me once. He said, "Anybody can manage, but to lead people, to like get people on your team where they want to help you succeed, that's the hardest job." You know what I mean? And staying with that, just being a person of integrity.
Yeah.
That you show up and you make sure that everybody else is enjoying their time.
I mean,
time is as valuable as money.
Yeah, and if you're telling somebody to do something, make sure that it's something you would do. Because if you're not willing to do it, then why should they be willing to do it?
Exactly.
So, what is the best role that you've played thus far?
Oh boy, I have to say, I honestly have to say, Wingman Inc. was pretty fun because anytime anybody asks me what the character Dutch is in Wingman, I said it's basically like Quagmire from Family Guy without the success. Like every one line you could possibly think of, but just no chance he's getting any girl to go with him. You know what I mean?
Oh.
So that was pretty fun, just playing that kind of person.
Yeah.
Because it's far away from who I really am as a person. Really, it's very close actually.
Wow.
But I've learned not to do the pickup lines. So that's
step one, I think.
I'm excited about shooting Disavowed though, because I get to be an assassin who's on the run from his own agency. So that's pretty cool.
I'm excited. I'm excited about Wingman Inc., but I'm also excited about Disavowed too, because that's two different things. I mean, one is a comedy and one's more of an action type movie, and I want to see them now. I want them done now because I'm so excited about it, But
yeah.
What for somebody that is seeing this interview and they have thought about getting into acting seriously, what's some advice that you would give to them?
What I would do honestly is first get yourself some good headshots, and if you're in LA, I'll even throw out a name. Johnny Marlowe is kind of the person that I've been going to, and he does fantastic work. But headshots are a must. And then also, I've always been very skeptical of acting classes, just because a lot of them in town are just a way for them to make money. It's just easy money saying, "Hey, you're from Hoboken? Come over and we'll teach you how to act." And then they're there for 10 years and they still don't know how to act. But
yeah.
There's one class that I went to just because my friend Kelly Breslin told me to. She said, "This guy's just like you. He's very proactive, and he's not just a coach. He's an actor and a director and a producer." And that was Troy Skinner's class, Breaking Through Acting Workshop, and which is in Van Nuys, since I'm doing a blurb about it now. I went there and basically he took me under his wing, and he always says he's not teaching you how to act, because you knew how to do that when you were 5 and you wanted a cookie. You'd bring out those alligator tears.
I still do that.
But he teaches you about confidence, and honestly, in a job where rejection is kind of a prerequisite, you need to have confidence that you're good at what you do. Because trust me, from a producing side, talent is never a secret. People know you're talented as soon as you're in the room, and the confidence, if you got the confidence, that's half the battle right there. But there are so many moving parts to the casting process. It could have been because you had the wrong hair color, or you're just a little bit shorter than what they were looking for. But they don't tell you that,
Right.
So it's important to just be confident in that you know what you're doing, and take a class that's really gonna do something for you, that's really gonna help you grow into that, that A-list actor instead of just a working actor, because they don't always work.
Yeah.
I know a lot of working actors who work at Aroma Cafe. It's a whole different mindset. You need to stop thinking of auditions as auditions. Think of them as meetings where you're just going to meet the people and see if you want to work with them.
Yep.
That's the biggest thing, and just enjoy the time that you're here, because honestly, you're in California. That's the biggest part right there. You get to go to the beach if you want to. Just enjoy it and enjoy the process that you seek for yourself. But honestly, the quickest way to be successful in this now is produce your own work. Really, produce your own, because with things like YouTube and other things like YouTube, I don't really know them all. With that at your disposal, you would be stupid not to get somebody with a camera and start shooting footage that you can put up there and show the world that, hey, look what I did. This looks good. You should hire me.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty of people who I've been like, all right, I wonder if they've got anything out. So I'll check out YouTube and I'll be like, they're pretty funny. We'll use them, and just know that if you're not called back or you're not hired on that job, trust me, if you did a good job, they remember who you are.
Yeah.
At least the good ones do.
Yeah.
People that, forget, you probably don't want to work with them anyway because they're jerks. But it's just keep at it and understand that there's a lot of people in LA trying to act, but a lot of them aren't talented. They want the fame without the work.
Yep.
They want to have the title without the responsibility, as it were. So
sure. Well, where can we find? Yeah. Where can we find all your stuff or your everything?
Well, you can go to a couple of different websites. My acting website is www.brandonheitkamp.com, and my production company is www.disavowedpictures.com. You can also follow me on Twitter. It's at Brandon Heitkamp, all one word. You're gonna have to figure that out because I'm not spelling it for you. Or fan page on Facebook, same thing, Brandon Heitkamp. Check it all out. And honestly, guys, I'm all about helping, so hit me up and ask me questions. I am more than happy to answer them because I'm about us making it.
Now, and you also know a little bit about putting the music together with the films too. So if artists want to come to you and say, "Hey, what do I do in this situation?" Would you be willing to talk with them?
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's not limited to acting or producing or directing or film in general. I have a lot of musician friends, a lot of people in the music industry, because it's all collaborative, it's all together, artwork, all of that stuff. Any artist is welcome in film in some capacity where they'll be used, and that sounded horrible, like they're going to be exploited. Their talents will be utilized, and they'll be able to take their artistry to the next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm all about helping people.
Rock and roll. You heard him right there. Hit him up. Brandon Heitkamp, thank you so much for hanging out. I do appreciate it. Go check out Disavowed, Wingman Inc. They're coming out hopefully sooner than later. Yeah. But your website has information on that as well, BrandonHeitkamp.com. Yep, go check that out. You can see some other stuff that he's been doing as well. If you have any questions, definitely, he's offered. Hit him up. Let him know what's going on. But, man, I appreciate you hanging out.
Thanks, E-Rock. I appreciate it, man.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you later.
All right, later.
Revolver Underground.